welcome to another episode of Crafting Kindness. I am going to be using the large Geode tray from Molds and Shapes today to be doing another Crackle / web effect with mica powders. I had a subscriber request another one, and I'm going with a Valentine's theme. And this is snow white paste that my friend Jen from Sunfire Designs made for me, homemade for me for Christmas, and sent it to me as a Christmas gift. So I'm so excited to be using it for the first time. And then I'm using glitters from Laura's Art Corner for my center today, and they are Golden Rose Holo and Princess Cinderella. So as you saw with my EyeCandy micas, I am using a variety of between purples, oranges and purples, and then the orange and the rose gold. So I chose those glitters to nicely accentuate, especially towards the center where I'm going to end with my rose gold. So all of the micas that I'm using today from EyeCandy, the first three of them are color shift pigments. So this purple one is a beautiful color called Shisho, and it color shifts kind of between these blues and these purples, and a little bit of cyan too. It's just a really, really gorgeous color. So, and it's going to provide a level of depth to the outside edges is my hope. So I'm going to be mixing those up. Each time I have a mica powder, for these first two colors, I'm using 1/8 of a teaspoon. So they're not opaque by any means, but they are, it's enough mica that gives it a really vibrant color and some really beautiful striations, and it's heavy enough that it'll carry and kind of float along towards the center as it goes on. But then also it's heavy enough that part of it will sink and produce some of that crackle effect too. And so the second mica that I have, I'm gonna probably totally mispronounce, and I apologize, but it's maybe Harajiku girl. I'll put all the links down below to them, but this is a new one to me, and I've actually, since I've made this piece, I've actually ordered a bigger tub of it too. So it's this beautiful pink, red, orange, purple color shift pigment. It is gorgeous. I can't wait for you to see it at the end. And then one of my favorites, as you've already seen, is Okinawa Sunset. I used this in my last rectangle rough and tough tray with that I first did for the web effect crackle effect tray. And this is a beautiful orange and bright pink, deep bright pink. Love it, love it, love it. So that is this one, and as you saw, I'm only using about 3/4 of that 1/8 of a teaspoon. I have a little less resin in each of the cups. So my first two cups have a little bit more, but even the Harajiku girl has a little bit less than the first one. I think they're each about 10 grams, if I remember correctly, 10 grams different. So obviously the outside ring of my mica needs to be more resin because there's a bigger surface area to cover, right? And as I go in, there's less resin that's needed. So I made a little bit less of each color as I kind of go in towards the center. So this last color I'm mixing up is this really pretty rose gold color. And this isn't a color, technically a color shift mica on EyeCandy's website, but nonetheless it has a beautiful rose golden shimmer and hue to it. It's absolutely beautiful. So I will again link my Crafting Kindness code down below in the description to EyeCandy. You do get 10% off any purchase you make there. And then any orders off above $49, I believe, you get free shipping too. So And you can see here, so this is the first time I'm using Sunfire Designs white paste gel that she gave me. And so I just used a pin, like a sewing pin needle, and stuck it in the top because I don't want to ever have like too big of drops, right? I'd rather have itty bitty drops and build up the opacity of any white that I'm making. So I had to squeeze pretty hard. And since I'm not really familiar with it, how many I would need to get the opacity I need, which it needs to be pretty opaque for this crackle and web effect, I went 3 or 4 drops at a time to work on getting it a little bit more and more opaque. So you can see here that you can still very easily see my stick through here. And I believe that I ended up with almost 18 itty bitty drops of this. Again, they're super small drops, so I know 18 sounds like a lot. I do actually have quite a bit of resin in this cup. It's about 50 grams of resin. So that geode tray that I'm using from Molds and Shapes is beautiful. It is 10 inches round though, so it is rather large. And I want to make sure that I have enough white to pour a thick ring of white around or on top of each of my mica colors. So I needed quite a bit of white paste and resin for that. So I'm just going to give each color a little final stir here, set them off to the side and make room for my mold. And just as we did with the rectangle tray, what I'm going to do here is I am going to pour a thin layer of resin, and the resin that I'm using today is ArtPro by ResinPro. And again, I have a discount code for them, which I will link for you down below. You can't use the discount code on Amazon, but sometimes you can actually find a better deal on ArtPro and iCrystal from ResinPro on Amazon. So always check that out. It's not always a better deal, but there are times where they'll have 20 or even 50% off on Amazon, but are not running the same sale actually through their website on ResinPro. So whenever Amazon's not having a sale, definitely head over to ResinPro's website and use my discount code, and that's probably the cheapest way you can get either ArtPro or iCrystal. So I poured a very thin layer of resin down, and then I am going to start circling my micas around. And after I circle each mica color, I'm going to be pouring a relatively thick a ring of the white paste resin on top of the mica color. And again, the crackle effect comes into effect here when you have that clear layer underneath the mica layer. The mica layer kind of soaks through the clear, and that's producing kind of the crackle effect. The web effect is coming from this ring of white paste resin over the mica. So the white, as it spreads, it gradually kind of sinks as well, but it's not usually as heavy as the mica, but it is heavy enough to kind of pull some of the mica forward into that like web and striated pattern. And so as you also just saw, I'm pouring a little bit of clear after each mica ring and white ring to kind of push that color out to make more room for the next mica color. So again, this is all I'm doing, pouring a mica ring, pouring a white ring on top of the mica, a gentle clear push around that color, and then doing the next mica ring. So I'm going to do that 2 more times, and then I will drop my center, and then you will just see the time-lapse video. So I'm looking forward to demolding this with you all, and I'm excited to see the results. Since this is a round tray instead of that rectangular tray, it definitely has a lot more room that it needs to move in towards the center than my rectangular tray did, since it's so much wider. But nonetheless, I'm really excited, and I really appreciate the subscriber who asked me for a specific request. And just like that person did, anybody is welcome to always request some special project. I'm always up for doing something new, and honestly, sometimes it just kind of takes the pressure off of me having to pick what to do. So enjoy the rest of this video and the time lapse, and I will see you back for demolding. Okay, I am so excited to demold this. Do you see all of this gorgeous color shifting mica from EyeCandy that is in here? Those colors look phenomenal together, and the camera and the lighting just do not do it justice, but even though they don't, they still look beautiful. So I am just so excited to turn this over and show you guys. I bet it just is going to look phenomenal, and I'm super excited to see it. So let's turn it over and see what it looks like. I love all that color shift colors. Wowzers! Oh, you guys! It looks a lot darker on this camera than it really is in person. And I'll try to get some better pictures, but look at all those fabulous color shifts together. And that Shisho on the outside provides that depth and darkness that kind of carries that through. The Harajiku girl kind of blended in with that Okinawa sunset, which is okay. They go so well together. But they look beautiful together, and that rose gold into the white webbing is a beautiful transition from those then into the white. I just love this so much. The crackle effects on each of the mica looks beautiful. The webbing into the center is gorgeous. Even though there's a few blobs kind of on that outside edge of the webbing, I still absolutely love how this tray turned out. So thank you so much for the subscriber that requested another crackle and web tray. This is just phenomenal. I love it. I might even do a winter-based theme. That subscriber either recommended like a Valentine's theme or a winter theme. So I just absolutely love the way these turned out. So you might see a different piece in a winter theme soon. And remember, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions for projects, you just holler out and I'll probably do something. So thank you so much for joining me again on another episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, take care.